Well, hello, my friends. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm so excited to have, first of all, one of my favorite people, known this lady for decades, Tracy Fisher. She's the campaign development manager for the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. Tracy, thanks so much for joining me today.
Yay, thank you so much for having me. You are one of my favorite people as well, and we do go way back.
Yeah.
I appreciate you inviting me to be on your show.
Yeah, absolutely. So I want to talk a little bit about the organization because we're going to really dive into this huge event that one of my favorite. I've been to it many times, but really looking at the history of the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, something I really don't know a lot about. So I'll let you kind of fill us in on that information.
Absolutely. And just for you and me both, we'll refer to it as LLS because Leukemia and Lymphoma Society is such a
It's an
mouthful.
awful. Yeah,
But
it is. Yeah.
yes, yeah. So I always say that right off the get-go. It's a huge year for LLS, Andy. We turned 75 years this year.
Okay.
And you may or may not know, but LLS was kind of launched in 1949 by a doctor and his wife who lost their only son to blood cancer.
Wow.
They were obviously devastated, and out of that tragedy was born a research organization. At the time, dedicated to researching new therapies and treatments for blood cancers. Fast forward to today, 75 years later, and LLS has had its fingers in 70% of the therapies and treatments on the market for blood cancer. So at the core, we are a research organization. That is one of the mission pillars. But we also do tons of different kinds of patient support services, from financial support to helping getting into clinical trials, or just hooking people up with any kind of information, education, that type of thing on their particular diagnosis. And then advocacy is obviously another big area that we focus on. So those are kind of some of the mission pillars we have. And one big statistic that I do love to mention is since the inception in 1949, LLS has invested $1.7 billion into researching blood cancer. So there's been a lot of progress, but we have our vision set forward into curing blood cancer. That is what we want to do. That is part of our mission.
Right. And I have to say, I always find it fascinating how an organization started and who were the people, and how did, 1949, like you said, this family was dealing with something, and they found it so important that they created a foundation or started this organization to really looking at it 75 years later, how many people it's impacted. So, wow.
Yeah.
Congratulations on 75 years. Well, the event again, and I like your photo in the background because it truly.
Oh yes, actually, if I scooch my head, that's actually a picture from last year's event.
Is it really?
Taken Park stage. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Light the Night. How many years has Light the Night been around?
It's actually a national movement.
Okay,
it's LLS's largest campaign. And you may or may not know this, but I always like to kind of, I guess, paint the picture of the history of Light the Night. But every fall, there are about 105 Light the Nights that take place across the country. So ours here in Omaha, we always try to have towards the beginning of fall. So ours this year is September 26th. I want to say they've been doing it in the Omaha area for over 15 years. I think it became kind of a big campaign of LLS's about 23 years ago.
Okay.
But ours has been happening for quite a while, but it is definitely in growth mode. So we're super excited about it.
So what can people, what is the purpose? I mean, why should people, why do people show up?
Absolutely. Clearly, it is a fundraising campaign. So it's the largest fundraising campaign that LLS does nationally. Okay. And so a big part of our goals every year is to reach a certain revenue budget. This year, we want to raise over $435,000 for the Omaha event. Last year, we raised around $420,000 which was 100,000 over what we had budgeted. So like I said, it is really in growth mode right now. But equally important is it's a community event. So people like you who are generous enough to let us kind of use these different avenues and ways of getting the word out. We want everyone in the community who has been touched by cancer, not just blood cancers, to come. And people come for different reasons. They may be a patient, they may be a caregiver, they may have a friend that was diagnosed with the cancer, they may be years into their survivorship. So we want everybody in the community to come and help us celebrate and support and remember, remember those that we've lost, those loved ones that we've lost to cancer. So it's kind of like our community's night to come together as one and just show the love to those that need it. So it really is a magical night.
It is a magical night. So I want to talk a little bit about just kind of, I'm looking, again, looking behind you, and I've been to this many times, but people that come, because there's not often a lot of night events where we go walk and also celebrate and remember and honor. But so everybody gets a lamp, or people get about the different,
a lantern.
Thank you. A lantern.
Yes. No, they used to be balloons, Andy. Believe it or not, they blew up all these helium balloons. I can't imagine doing that. But a LED lantern. Yep.
And then, so then people, and there's different colors. So talk about the different colors of the lantern.
Absolutely. So kind of the iconic symbol of Light the Night is that LED lantern. Yes. It's one that you actually will take home with you. So it's not a lantern that floats up into the sky or, one like that. So there are 3 different colors. The white lanterns are carried by any cancer patient or cancer survivor. The gold, I carry a gold, for example, are carried by those who have lost someone near and dear to them to cancer. And then the red is basically everybody else. So red would be folks that are there because they want to support someone who is going through the cancer journey. They are there because they want to help find a cure for cancer. So you're going to see mostly red. Mm-hmm. Obviously, we would love to see a lot of whites, which we do, and not as many golds. That's our goal for the future, is not as many golds. But yeah, those are the three iconic colors, and they're beautiful. And you're right. There are many outdoor community events, but not many are in the evening. Right. So this one is really, really special.
Can I ask you a personal question?
Yes. So of course you can.
How are you associated with this? I mean, from a personal level, because you said you
absolutely. So when I first started working at LLS, I didn't think I had a blood cancer connection. So I didn't think I had a direct mission connection. Well, it turns out I'm wrong. My fiance's father is a blood cancer survivor. And I always knew that I had an aunt, my mother's sibling right above her, who had passed away at a young age. I believe it was the summer before her senior year in high school. And I knew she passed away from cancer. Well, it turns out it was non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. So and that really changed the whole dynamic and trajectory of my mother's family. When that happened, her mom then passed away shortly after that. A lot of it, I'm sure, was related to heartache and just going through that trauma of losing a child at a young age. So it's kind of like anything else. Once you start learning about it and talking to people about it, you realize how many people have been touched by blood cancer directly. But I think on the other flip side, because like I said, we invite anyone touched by cancer. I don't know anyone, Andy, who hasn't been touched by cancer. Yeah. Agreed. So I carry a gold because my father passed away from lung cancer. Yeah. So that's why I carry the gold lantern. Yep. Yeah.
So when people come, I mean, this truly is, it's not just you show up, you have your lantern, and then you walk. I mean, there's a lot of things happening that evening. I mean, it's a beautiful, and it starts when it's light out, and then so kind of walk through the evening and how that unfolds.
And it's at Stinson Park in Exarban Village, which I also love to tell people because that particular venue sets up beautifully for this type of an event. Yes. So there's tons of free parking. the event opens, or the festival kind of kicks off at 5:30. And so we tell people, bring your picnic blankets or your lawn chairs, or, come down and kind of set up a spot in the grassy area of Stinson Park. Bring your family, bring your friends. You can form a team. I'm sure we'll talk about that in a minute, but grab your group of people that you do life with and come to Light the Night, set up a fun little area, and then go about and do all the fun things that we have kind of ready for you when you get there. So there's a family festival that lasts from 5:30 to about 7:15. So it's light out all during that time. And there's all sorts of activities, Andy. We have a huge kid zone, and we have bouncy houses, and I have this gigantic troupe of clowns that are going to come. If you don't like clowns, you don't have to go by the clowns, but they'll be doing face painting and balloon twisting and all sorts of cool things for kids. For the adults, we have all sorts of fun stuff happening from the stage. We have a VIP tent. We have kind of a tailgating area with cornhole games and things like that. Last year, we added a bunch of local food trucks, and that was a huge hit. So you don't have to eat before you come. So you can come down there. You can go buy food at these great food trucks and then sit and have your picnic and just have all sorts of fun. But like you said, everybody will get a lantern. And when you register, you'll choose what color lantern you want to make sure that we have enough. But after that family festival, then our mutual friend, by the way, Van Dieb, is the MC of the festival, as you know. Yes. So he's always thoroughly entertaining.
Yes.
And then Zach Williamson from KMTV is our ceremony MC. And so about 7:15, 7:30, everybody brings their lanterns, and we gather as a huge crowd in front of the stage. All the lanterns are still off at this point, and it's dusk. And then we hear some stories from the stage. We hear some stories from survivors. We'll hear a story of someone who has lost someone to cancer, and then we'll hear a story of a general supporter. And then we do the lantern glow ceremony. And I don't want to give too many things away about that, because that's really the magical part of the evening. So I won't even really tell you what that includes, but it's beautiful. And then we call it a walk, Andy, but honestly, the walk is the shortest part of the night. So after the lantern glow ceremony, we do 3 laps right within Stinson Park. So you never leave the park. It's very well lit. You don't have to do the walk portion. And then last year we added this, and it was such a huge hit. So after the 3 laps, then we kind of cap the evening off with a grand finale fireworks show.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So we added that last year to see how it would go, and people loved it. So we're doing that again this year.
What a celebration of just life and survivors, and then the people that that we've lost, but it's truly a celebration of their life.
Absolutely. There's a remembrance pavilion that you can go into and write some little notes, messages about people maybe that you've lost. And it's a very beautiful, calm area, but just all sorts of fun things. And you're going to be there, and you're on my team, and I can't wait to have a great time with you. Yeah.
All right. Well, let's talk quickly, because I'm looking at the time. I could talk about this for. I
know. Yes.
But if people if they want to form a team, I'm looking at your website over here, lightthenight.org. So talk a little bit about that, or they could just come out. They don't have to be a part of a team, right? Do you have to be a part?
Nope. You can. We always ask people, and it's much easier if you register in advance.
Regardless.
So go to lightthenight.org, and then it'll ask you which walk. So you'll just type in Omaha. It'll pull up the Omaha walk. You can form a team, which is kind of fun, especially if you are going to go with a group of people. You might as well form a team.
Absolutely.
And come up with a fun team name, and you can do some fun little matching T-shirts or whatever you want to do, or do costumes. You and I love a good costume, so you can do a costume.
Yeah.
But you do not have to be part of a team. You can register as an individual.
Yeah.
And there is you can fundraise if you choose. There is no requirement to fundraise. We do just ask you to register so we can make sure that we have enough lanterns and in the color that you want to carry that night. Now, if you happen to come down to the event and you did not register, you can register while you're there. So that's not a big deal. But come. That's all we're saying is just come to the event. Once you go one time, you will come back the following year and bring more people, because it's a great time for everybody, all ages, for sure. Yeah.
Absolutely. All right. So let's one last time the logistics. Where, when?
Yep. Stinson Park, September 26th. I don't know if I even mentioned that earlier. It's a Thursday night. Starts at 5:30, and honestly, you're wrapped up and heading to the car by 8:30 at the latest.
Right.
Register at lightthenight.org. Just type in Omaha, and it will take you to you can follow the prompts from there. That family festival, like I said, is from 5:30 to about 7:15. So come anytime between those hours and go get your lantern and have fun.
Yeah. Again, it's an amazing evening. Tracy, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you.
I'm looking forward to September 26th, Thursday night. I will see you
Yes.
down there. Again, Van Deeb, MC. Christy Anderson, is she the coach?
She's involved. Yep. So next year, Van Deeb and Christy Anderson are co-chairing.
Okay.
This year, a gentleman named Austin Kirschner, who
Okay.
works for Pellissa Pharmaceutical Company, is not emceeing, sorry, is the corporate walk chair.
Okay.
So
awesome.
you know a lot of people involved.
I do.
Yes, you do.
So I just wanted to mention that. All right, my friend. Thank you. I'll see you on the 26th, and
You got it.
folks, check it out, and please hope to see you there as well.
Thank you, Andy.
You're welcome. Don't go away. We'll be right back. Well, hello, my friends. I'm excited to be here with Justin Dougherty. He is the president, CEO of the Autism Action Partnership. Justin, thank you for joining me.
Andy, it's always a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
You are welcome. I want to talk a little bit about Autism Action Partnership, and I know we've got an event coming up, so we're going to spend some time chatting about that. But let's just talk about the organization itself and who you serve.
Yeah, so we're a nonprofit here in the Omaha area. Our service area is kind of Nebraska as far as we can serve, and always a little bit of the kind of Western Iowa side. If families are welcome to participate. Organization was founded primarily to fill gaps, which in the world of autism is significant. And so mostly where gaps are places where services aren't reimbursed. So insurances or other programs like that kind of focus energy and time and resources in certain areas, and the other areas are life and where families play and live and work. And so those are some of the areas that we focus on. And so we try to serve the autism community, members of the autism community directly, as well as we have a significant component of our work that is focused on helping others in the community better understand what autism is, what it isn't, how they can be more inclusive and more welcoming to individuals with autism and their loved ones.
Yeah. And how long have you been with the organization?
Just over 6 years.
Okay. Yeah, I knew you've been there a while, and I just the reason I asked that question is that autism, I mean, just in general, I mean, it's something that just you have more information on, but you're also needing more research. I mean, it's just something that is more somewhat in the forefront of people's minds, but needing to be even more in the forefront and educate from an educational standpoint, because you're finding new things all the time. Am I correct in saying that?
For sure. Research, both like kind of crowdsourcing, just like folks are talking about it more, they're sharing more of their lived experience and family. So more information is being understood through kind of that crowdsourcing idea, as well as research and science, as well as I'll say that there is a larger body of individuals who identify, diagnosed or identify as having autism, speaking their own voice, right? And so they're now adding more and more. So with 2 decades ago, 3 decades ago, it became more and more common basically every year since then. Those individuals are now adults and they have their own voice. They're sitting at the table and they're giving their own experience. So all of those kind of converging sources of information are giving us more information. And the more you know, the more you realize you don't know, and the more opportunity there is to learn more. So all those things kind of happening at once. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, I love that. The more you know, the more you realize you don't know.
Mm.
That's so true. So, well, I mean, thank you for everything that you do. Let's dive into a vintage affair that's coming up here. I'm glancing over here because I'm looking at your website. A vintage affair is coming up here in October.
Yes, yeah. October 5th is
Okay.
it's our annual fundraiser. It's our
Yeah.
party we've been throwing for 16 years.
Yep.
And it's it's one of my favorite days of the year, not just because of the financial, windfall and the support that happens as a result of all of the generosity in the community, but it has really become a celebration. And we are dealing with very heavy opportunity, heavy experiences with families and loved ones, but there's so much joy and so much excitement and so much being accomplished and so much ability within the disability community. And that's when you're kind of you're with your people, right? And so
Yep.
everyone
Yeah.
there either lives it every day or has a loved one or a connection to autism in a special way that says these are my people. And so year after year after year, you get together. Some folks, this is the only time we see them, and which is wonderful and great. So it really it's like almost like a reunion in sorts in some of these events, as well as a lot of new people coming underneath the umbrella every year.
So let's talk a little bit kind of like where's the event at?
Yeah.
We'll just dive into that real quickly and we'll talk about kind of like the agenda and what people
Yeah,
can expect
certainly.
to enjoy. Yeah.
Embassy Suites La Vista
Okay.
is October 5th. We say it starts at, I think, 5:30, but really we're hoping to top it by 6. We have silent auction items and wine tasting through a partnership with Vino Mas,
Okay.
food and all those things. And then programming starts around 7 o'clock. We have dinner and a program. We offer an annual award for the Help is Hope Award for somebody else in the community across the state who's doing amazing work. This year, we're honoring a gentleman by the name of Aaron Bly, who is the president of the Kids and Dreams Foundation out in the Kearney area, doing amazing, wonderful things. We're looking forward to making sure everyone knows the wonderful things he's doing. And then we kind of end with a Raise the Paddle live auction opportunity.
Sure.
This year, the honorary chairs are Jill and Steve Curtis. Steve is the financial director for the city of Omaha, and they are
Yep.
open about their son participates in some of our has a diagnosis of autism and participates in some of our programming. Is if you've been to our event, has been on
Yep.
stage
Yeah.
sharing MC duties with me for the last few years. So we are honored that they have lent their name and their support and their network to the success of this event and to our organization.
And tell me a little bit too. So the evening of the event, I mean, people they come and what do you feel like? And you might have just said this, but like the highlight of the evening, people being there because people are there because they have an autism connection, but a lot of people are there because they
Right.
don't.
Yeah. I mean, I really think that you're kind of touching on the best part of the evening is really changing some of the narrative around autism. I mean,
Yes.
there is a spectrum, and there are individuals who have significant needs, and maybe, and then there are we'll call savant side that just mostly on the television and the movie show, that you see those like The Good Doctor and things like that,
Mhm.
and then
Yeah.
it's everything in between. And so, even people who are part of the autism community, their experience is their loved one. I can tell you everything about my child, my nephew, whatever, but I don't really know what autism is. I know their lived experience, and so the
Yeah.
opportunity to kind of express the spectrum of what the experience is, the opportunities, and again, to really define individuals and this entire population by what they can do, what their unique abilities are, the neurodiverse component, their brain being different and not less. I mean, those are really the points that we really hit. We celebrate our staff, our team, our supporters. There's so much we do with staff, but also because of so many others. And so we have a really opportunity to say thank you. We can celebrate what we've accomplished and kind of chart the path for what we're hoping to accomplish in the coming year and beyond.
Yeah. And I love when you say unique abilities, that I think is just a powerful word. Um,
Hmm.
Everybody has unique abilities. And when you really look at um, the people impacted by autism, I mean, to me, their unique abilities just almost are brilliant in some ways. You know, we look
Oh,
at, yeah, yeah, yeah,
I could tell stories just from this week alone of people that um, present a certain way and open up, and their brilliance is confounding sometimes. We're just impressive of
Yeah.
what's happening inside of someone's brain and heart, and what they're able to communicate verbally versus type or write, or and the list goes on and on. I know we have a limited time, but I'm happy to tell everybody and sing it from the rooftops.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, we have a few minutes left. I'm just kind of looking over at the notes. So anything else? I mean, first of all, I could talk to you for a couple hours about this. Noteworthy, in the moment, here we are, in September, the event's coming up in October, looking at the rest of the year, something that we can, other takeaways, and also for people who can't attend the event.
Yeah, so we are always looking for, so we have a workforce development program. If you are a business that is looking as needs wonderful workers, we have plenty of individuals who are looking for work. We offer some job support, some transition onboarding components. We have family events. So coming up for the rest of this year, we have our a big zoo night. So we have 2 zoo nights a year, which is a wonderful, over 1,000 people attend the zoo. We have Sensory Santa coming up here in the holidays. We have a Nutcracker, which is a partnership with American Midwest Ballet. All of these things, again, are things that we're creating because we're hearing from families that this is what they want. We're making it happen. And we have individuals, families, foundations, corporate sponsors who are all helping to make it happen. So we have a really good understanding of what the need is. And then we try to figure out how we best can meet that. And so the list goes on of all the different opportunities that we have as an organization, that volunteers, donors, individuals who want to get connected. And if you've got some wonderful idea, you heard something in some other community somewhere else, one of the best parts of my job is that because we are focused on this gap area, we aren't restricted by red tape. For better or worse, some of those things that happen with the reimbursable services, there's a manual that says what you can and can't do. We have the ability to say, that's a wonderful idea. Maybe that's something is that something we should do? Is that our role? Is anybody else doing it? How do we do it efficiently? And then go do it. So there's amazing things happening all over this world in the area of autism, and we're happy to listen to anybody's idea of how maybe we can replicate or do it the Omaha way here in town.
Yeah. I absolutely love that. I love that, Justin. So, well, we're going to have a bigger conversation about the workforce piece and some other things that you do at a later time. But again, the Vintage Affair coming up on October 5th at Embassy Suites. So go to their website, which I'm looking at right now, which is autismaction.org. And lots of information there about the event, but also so many other things. So, so grateful for what you do.
Yes. And we always are sure to say it is a fundraiser and a friend raiser. It's not just about the funding. It's about making sure everyone walks out of there feeling like they can be an autism ally and a better advocate for not only AAP, but for the individuals that navigate our community with autism every day.
Wonderful. All right, Justin, thank you again. So great to see you. Appreciate
you, Andy.